Good morning, YouTube. It's a game show today, and April is going to play against me.
This is a terrible idea.
Well, so I am on the car auction websites quite a bit.
Every day, all day long. Like, you lose sleep because you wake up and you're on it, and then like at 3 in the morning, if you can't sleep, you're on it. I'm like, who are you talking to? Oh, it's just my girlfriend. All the cars that you're looking at all the time.
Anyway, I thought this would be a fun game to play because of Bringatrailer's unique alumni kind of button or little tab that they have on cars that have previously sold on Bringatrailer. And it's very interesting because it's been sort of crazy high prices in the last couple of years. So a lot of cars, the bubble has burst on prices, or new cars have finally started depreciating. And then there's some, where there's actually a growing interest and prices are going up on a few. But overall, it's much lower than it was a couple of years ago. And one example that I saw today, and this is what prompted this whole idea, this 1997 Ferrari F355, you can see, beautiful car.
So
6-speed
cool.
manual, only bid to $80,500. I thought that was really cheap. And you can see it's alumni. It actually sold in November 2022. And brace yourself.
Braced.
Elon, come on, internet. There we go.
Starlink.
$150,000 is what it sold for in 2022, so less than 2 years ago.
So would you say that was the peak height of the market?
Well, and it was in Canada. I don't know what happened with this auction. It should have been a $100,000+ car all day long. Being a Euro, it's a bit lower, but this one, somebody paid $150,000 for it.
Right.
Spent whatever, in the tariffs, the import fees to get it from Canada to the U.S. Drove it for a year and a half.
Right.
Put it up for sale again, bid to 80.
That's
So they
rough,
lost
did not sell.
like half of the value of the car, even though it didn't sell. It didn't meet reserve, obviously.
Right.
But something was really off today. I don't know what it is with this car in particular. Then I thought, well, let's just see if this is a trend.
Okay.
And I just started opening random tabs of alumni sales, and I promise I didn't look.
I
Did about
sort
a
of
dozen.
believe you.
I picked some that I thought you would like, but
Okay.
overall it was just mostly just recent sales of alumni to see if they've sold for higher or lower than their previous price.
Right.
And we can write it down ourselves.
Okay.
So obviously we can pick higher or lower. So it sold for $1,000 more,
Right.
or $10,000 less. Obviously, if one of us is higher or lower, then only one of us can be right. But if we're both lower, we need to write the amount that we think it is lower. So it sold for $5,000 less than it did previously.
Right.
And I have several tabs opened if you are ready.
I feel like you're trying to turn me into like Doug DeMuro or something, because you guys always play these games. I'm not Doug. I'm sorry.
It's a total pig in a poke. I really have no idea.
Is that a Kansas term?
Well, yes, very much. So the first one.
Of course. Oh my God.
Well, this is
rigged.
It's a 1980 Mercedes 450 SEL.
Okay.
And it has some miles on it, 127,000 miles on it.
I gotta take this is getting hot. Hold on. Okay. Whew. This is going. I'm gonna take you on, pretty boy.
She's very competitive.
Let's go.
So it sold for $11,000.
I have to do some like push-ups or something.
Yesterday. I don't know when this video comes out. It might be 2 or 3 days ago for you. But it sold a year ago in August 2023, and they did some work in the past year. So exhaust manifold gaskets, replacing the belts. So they did some work to it, cleaned it up. It does look very, very nice in the photos, as you can see. But do you think higher or lower?
Can I just write what I think it sold for last year? I know those weren't the rules. I'm bad at math. I know what number I think it sold at.
Last year?
Yeah.
So then you're going to make me do the math. Okay.
Yeah, right?
Well, because you could write the arrow. So you could say it sold for $1,000 less last year.
Okay.
So it could be down arrow 1,000 or up arrow 1,000.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to
His
guess.
rules. Typical guy, right?
They did some work to it.
Okay.
It's really well done. So I said up 2,000. What'd you say?
I'm going to be fired from Good Morning YouTube.
What? Up 7,000 from the work that they did? Well, maybe you're right. I don't know. Let's see.
No, I think it sold for this before.
You think it sold for 7,000 more before?
Am I doing this wrong?
No, you're doing it wrong. So you need to put the down arrow.
Okay.
So it actually sold originally in 23 for $9,801.
Okay.
So
that was a warm-up. I just want to get your confidence going. I'm just trying to pull you into this game right now.
Okay.
And you'll see what happens.
So not a big swing with that. I mean,
No.
I think that they inspired confidence by going through the car and taking professional photos, and I think that helped it. But I didn't think it would be a dramatic increase. So
Right.
I was right. What's the next car? I'm hoping it's better for you. There we go. No
Oh,
complaints
okay.
here. 3,600-mile 1987 Buick Grand National. You can see it's photographed beautifully.
Beautiful car.
Extremely low miles, but it sold in June of 2022. And since then, they replaced the differential. They resealed it to fuel filter, fuel tank, fuel pump, fuel sending unit, thermostat, spark plug wires, wastegate. So basically, it looks like they went through it because it's been sitting static forever,
Right.
and went through it and recommissioned to get it driving again. So that's sort of important. But 2022 was the crazy time for one of these.
Right.
But I would say they did a great job with the photographs too. So, oh yeah, really pretty under the hood. So what do you think in 2022? Did it sell for more or less?
Even after all that work, I'm going to say it sold for a little bit more back in the day. Is that the right arrow?
So you think it sold for $3,000 less than it did a year ago? And I said $8,000 less than a year ago, or 2022. So we're actually saying 2 years ago.
Huh.
And it sold for $67,000. So I do believe 62 versus 67. Oh God, $4,500. So I'm $3,500 off, and it was $4,500. So I'm $3,500 away, and you are closer. Yes, you got it. You got it. I don't know. Yeah, Jake will do the math, but I'm pretty sure you got that one by at least $1,000. Okay. See?
Look
See?
at this. This feels better.
So we are tied up, April. But isn't
look
that
at
interesting?
that.
They spent all that money to go through it. You can look, see the pictures are much better in the newer listing. And it's obviously been recommissioned, gone through, but it still sold for less because of that crazy 2022 period, you know?
Right.
But we are tied up. So the next one is a 1991 Acura NSX.
These are so cool.
Very,
Have
very
you ever
cool.
owned one?
Very early YouTube videos. Like one of the first cars I bought for YouTube, got a loan for $30,000 to hoping that it would pay for itself in YouTube videos. It didn't do all that well compared to some other cars, but still, yeah, my first sort of supercar experience, traded it for a 355 that burned to the ground.
Okay.
But this one, 54,000 miles, manual transmission. They make these in automatic, and there's a big price penalty for that. But yeah, early NSX in the most popular color, in really good shape. What do you think? Because it sold a year before, so July 2023. This sold 2 days ago on September 10th.
And you haven't even peeked
I haven't looked. I
at
have
what
no
they sold
idea.
for before.
I just was clicking
Are
through
you,
random ones.
You're being for real?
I'm being for real.
For
I have
real.
no idea. I just clicked through the most recent
Okay.
alumni sales that I thought were
ready.
interesting. And this
so
one,
cool.
yeah,
Okay.
I'm going to guess.
Okay.
So I guessed $5,000 less than a year ago.
3,000.
3,000
Come
less?
on! I need another point. I need to be back.
Really? $79,000. So I got that one versus $73,500. So yeah, that's like
Ouch.
what, $5,500? I'm very close on that one. I don't know.
Ouch.
Jake's gonna have to do the math because my brain's not there. So yeah, 2-1. That's sort of expected in the peak crazy time. But these cars didn't really get that crazy.
But I feel like that price difference is such a negligible thing. Like you got two bidders that are coming down to the last minute, and it's like if someone really wants it, it's gonna nudge up or down.
Right. I also think when it's such a short period of time, a lot of people are wondering, why are you selling it so quick? Is there something wrong with it?
True.
Is there something you didn't like about it? Will I buy it and be sick of it within a year? And also, people just naturally want to get a good deal. So
Right.
like, oh, I'm not going to pay as much as he paid.
Right.
You know, so you have to wait a while when you buy it from one of these public auctions. So next,
Whoa.
10,000 kilometer,
But you have one of
Countach
these.
25th anniversary.
How is this even fair?
Well, it's going to be pretty obvious what the price difference is going to be because it last sold in March 2019. So it sold a year before I bought my Countach. So I bought mine 89 25th at the end of 2020.
Right.
And
Well, you got a deal on
I
it.
got quite a deal.
Okay.
But this one, yeah, same year, A little bit less mileage. Black with the tan interior. But yeah, you can see what somebody bought it for, obviously, for considerably less. But how much less do you think it was 5 years ago?
I don't know if I could do okay.
$512,000.
I'm gonna say something a little crazy on here, so don't judge me too hard.
No, it's gonna be something crazy. And okay, what do you have? $70,000. I put $200,000. It was a big difference back then.
Okay.
Way big difference. So let's see. I might even be low with this. Let's see. $241,000. Yeah, I was right. So yeah, it was like 250, 60, 70 grand.
So what do you think specifically it was about these cars? Because, you know, obviously we say the Testarossas haven't climbed up like the Countach has. What is it? Just because it's the poster?
Yeah, but and the production numbers were much lower than the Testarossas. They made about 10,000 Testarossas. They made, you know, around 2,000 Countaches, and the 25th was a big chunk of them. And yeah, it's just a total icon, an amazing driving experience, and prices were just held down. Nobody really knew why. Obviously now people our age that have got into crypto and their business is doing well and all that stuff are getting a little bit of money, and that original poster they had when they were kids, I guess they're probably a little older than us, because I don't know, Diablos and Murcielagos were the things of my age, I suppose. They want to buy it now. So there you go. But yeah, huge uptick in the last 4 or 5 years.
Did you expect that, Jake? Were you going there? Yeah, Jake. Okay.
Yep. So next on the list is a Coyote-powered Factory 5. I picked this because I know you hate them. You don't like replicas all that much.
Hate is a strong word.
April doesn't like replicas. But I thought this was interesting because it was sold very recently, June 2024. And the current owner actually bought it and is now selling it like 3-4 months later.
And that's okay to do? Like, is it considered flipping if it's done before that?
Well, it doesn't look like he's done anything to it. I can't really click on the old listing because then I know the price, but it has only 775 miles on it, so chances are it was very low mileage before, obviously. Coyote powered, so it's a nicely built one. Looks cool, but $50,000 is what it brought in September. Did this guy take a big haircut selling it? Because he actually did sell it. From what he paid in June 2024. So he buys this Factory 5. He's like, I'm not sure I like it all that much. And immediately sells it 3 or 4 months later on the same site.
It looks cool. Like the finish, the finishings of it and the customization of it looks very, very, very cool. 5,500.
I'm at 5,000. So we're close.
I'm glad I did that, so I wouldn't tell you. Okay.
And it sold for the exact same money. $50,000.
But they're losing money because
they paid the fees.
And everything.
But we're not counting the fees, so I guess technically I'm closer because
you win.
We're both kind of wrong, though. So the guy actually didn't lose his shirt. He was able to enjoy the car, but you're right. He paid fees. He would have had to have registered it, insured it. So he did lose thousands of dollars. But
well, it did look like he added a little bit onto it.
A little bit of bling? It doesn't look like it. I think
like
it's just...
this exhaust covers.
Yeah, because he probably burned himself once. Maybe that's why he got rid of it, because he didn't like getting smoked by the exhaust.
The bite, yeah.
Yeah.
The Cobra
Good catch
bite.
there.
Okay.
All right, so next on the list, here's something you like. 1970 El Camino
LS6.
SS LS6.
Whoa.
LS6 4-speed, best year.
Right.
El Camino. This one, it got bid to $175,000 in early 2024 and didn't sell. Cool color, too.
It didn't sell for $175.
Didn't sell for $175. It sold in August of 2022. But didn't sell this time around.
Imagine like an El Camino going for that much now? Like how much they would freak out back in the day? Who would pay that much?
That is a lot, but it's cool. It's an unusual color for these because mostly you see them in black and red, and they have the rally stripes and all that stuff. So it's cool. It has the blue bench interior with the manual.
You are a sexy beast.
175 is what it didn't meet reserve. So at some point it sold in August 2022 for a number.
Right.
What do you think?
I am going.
I said 50,000. You say 30,000?
I thought I was like nuts for saying that.
No, I think the market for this is changing quite a bit.
Okay.
And maybe some boomers got really spun up bidding this thing up. And now the second time around, it's not as special, right? I'm guessing you're thinking the same thing. Because in August 2022, it sold for $182,500.
Look who gets a point now. How you doing?
I thought it would be much further away. Obviously, we both did, but
I just feel this is showing that you actually didn't cheat. So that's a good thing.
right. But what's interesting is it got bid to close to their original price.
Right.
But then they didn't let it go. Which I would think if I was bringing a trailer and I was repping this, they're like, hey, you got to expect that it's going to bring, maybe 5-10% less. So you need to make a reserve more realistic. But they didn't. Right. So they let them stick to their guns, I guess.
Doesn't look like they did anything to it either.
Right, yeah. Well, next is a pretty car, 1970 Jaguar XKE Series 2 Roadster.
That's so cool.
4-speed. So the Series 1s are the most desirable because you can see on these they had to do the sealed beam headlights, the bigger bumpers.
Right.
And then still the old 4.2 inline 6 though, so has that.
I love
manual
those
transmission.
wheels. Can you imagine having to clean those wheels?
The wire wheels, yeah.
That's like a punishment.
Right. But very beautiful car. 16,000 miles showing. And since the purchase, they did replace the brake master cylinder and the clutch slave cylinder. So they did do a little bit of work, but mostly looks like a really, really nice car. So sold for $75,000 here this month. But in August of 2023, so a year ago, what did it sell for?
I don't know. I really like these cars. I think they're really cool, very sexy.
Well, I think they lost $5,000. You think they lost $7,000? So you think they lost more? 75 was what it sold for a few days ago. 83.
Ooh, what is that?
You got another point.
What is happening? You're going to be fired soon.
Yeah.
This doesn't look good for you, Mr. Hoover.
Right. So I think, does that tie it up with us? I haven't been keeping track. Jake, are you keeping track?
I believe it's 3-4.
3-4, so I'm still up?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're catching up.
Great. Okay.
Right.
I have to distract you somehow.
Getting close. It's very easy to be distracted by you.
Okay.
All right, next we're going to something modern.
Oh my gosh, this is totally you.
2004 Lexus LX470.
You're like, oh, there's some cars that you like on there. There's one Grand National.
And the El Camino.
Okay, El Camino. For
Yeah,
sure.
and
Okay.
then there's just some stuff that neither of us are
This
experts
is
on.
like
I'm
the
not an
tricky,
expert.
weird stuff that you and Doug and Tavares are like, oh yeah.
I bought one Lexus LX470 for YouTube many years ago, 360,000 miles, and it was like $1,800, something like that. Fixed it all up, made it a cool expedition rig. This is a really nice one.
It's very cool.
59,000 miles on it.
What?
And it sold in January of 2023. But you can see $30,250 is what it sold for a few days ago. Very, very nice example of a Land Cruiser. And during COVID, these were hot. Everybody wanted to have an off-road, off-the-grid expedition rig to where they could do, because they can't go on vacation, do cruises, do any kind of normal stuff. So they were just going camping. They was.
You're just nervous because I'm so close to you.
They were just out doing outdoorsman backwoods. Everybody wanted an expedition off-road rig, and they thought these were invincible. They are amazing cars. But yeah, $30,000 is what this sold for just a few days ago.
Right.
So what do you think it sold for in January of 2023?
Now, was there work done too?
It doesn't look like, and these never need any work.
Okay.
And it's totally stock, so I don't think it's been
I'm
modified
just
at all.
trying to zone. I gotta win. Okay. I gotta get all the information. Here, I can't look at what you're doing. 30. All right. What is
Let's see.
happening?
What do you got?
Sorry, hold on.
I'm guessing kind of high. I think it's a $10,000 hit.
Oh,
And you think it's a $7,000
Yeah.
hit. So once again, it's going to be close. So in January of 23, it sold for $37,500. You are right on the money. Okay. And now I guess we're tied up.
I mean, that's probably considered a half point because I did phone a friend over.
Did you flash some gang signs at her for numbers?
No, that did not.
Don't. No more helping because it's tied up.
We're tied up.
I don't know anything about Land Cruisers.
I thought it would have been more, but yeah, I guess the pictures aren't very good in
Looks
this
like
one.
you were wrong, Mr. Hoover.
Yeah, because they're taking pictures in the snow. Yeah, in Syracuse, New York, so everybody's already thinking rust, uh-oh. So, yeah, I guess that would kind of scare people off. But
Yeah,
and we
this
were
kinda,
off
like,
the peak.
Sound like a lot of excuses right now on why you lost
Yeah,
that round.
I suppose.
Okay.
So next is
Ooh.
1988 Ferrari Testarossa, which is what we've just added to the family.
That's
This
so
one.
cool.
Really cool spec, really cool photos. I loved like the empty docks behind it and all that stuff. Sold for $122,000 in 2024 and high mileage, 47,000 miles. So
Okay.
ours has like 43.
Right.
But doesn't have the rust issues underneath. Didn't have the interior falling apart. Doesn't have the engine leaks, even though it's had a fresh engine out. Like so, it's a very nice example of a high mileage car in a really cool spec. So the thing is, though, it sold in November of 2020.
2020. Okay.
So this is sort of in the period
Right.
where things were cheap for a minute before the world went crazy.
Right.
I got some great deals in 2020 on cars. I got some great deals in 2020 on cars. So what do you think? I gave you a little bit of help there.
You did. I can't wait for the value of these to keep just climbing.
Well, that's not nice because you have one.
There's.
So.
I think it sold for more now than it did back then.
Oh yes.
And I am going.
So I put 30 grand. 30 grand more. 30. Shit, this is really close again. See, you don't think you pay attention to this, but you do
What's
pay
it
attention.
gonna-
96,666. So
What
I
is-
think that puts me closer.
We
'cause
need
I'm-
official math.
Well, no, because
Official math.
you're higher and this is closer. Was 96. That's
Okay.
20 something thousand. I got that one.
You got that
It was
one.
very close.
Okay.
You're very smart.
How many do we have left? 4.
We have a
and
few
it's
more.
5 to 4 right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. So next is what?
How many have you owned of these?
19. I've never owned a 993, believe it or not. I've never owned. I've very few 911s actually. Just mostly 996 runny egg, terrible ones because I could.
Right.
When I was broke, I could never afford this. Now they're so expensive that I just can't justify it. But yes, this
Whoa.
one is a 1997.
And you want to
993.
compare it to the June sale. This year's sale in June is what
Correct.
we're looking at.
June 2024. So like I was just going through and just randomly pulling these things. Ones that I thought that were interesting.
Yeah.
So I think I said this is a 993, not a 997. It's a 1997. So I'm mixing things up a little bit. But so it is a Carrera S, but it is the automatic transmission. So not desirable in the Porsche fans because just a
Right.
slush box in these things.
Right.
But still a really cool car from the end of the line of the air-cooled Porsches. And it sold for $96,000. So somebody only had it for a short period of time. Like I said, June 2024 when it sold before. So less than 6
I'm
months.
not allowed to phone a friend.
I have no idea either. This is what happens in 3 to 4 months in this crazy Porsche market.
Yeah, but do you remember watching it? Because it wasn't that long ago.
No, I mean, I'm sure I would have, I completely glaze over on these because they just bring more than I think they should.
Right.
Like, I just don't understand the obsession with these end-of-the-line air-cooled 911s to where the prices are so high, and then it being an automatic, I really don't care.
Right.
But somebody paid $96,000 for it, and somebody paid something else for it a few months before, and what do you think that was?
And they made like a boatload of these, right?
Yeah, plenty of them.
Right, okay.
This isn't like a Turbo S or something
Right.
really rare. This is a Carrera. So I think they took a little haircut. They lost $5,000. You're saying $4,000. See,
Are you watching me?
no, I'm not.
You are.
I'm
You
not.
are. Because you
Okay.
know.
$101,500. So I think I won because 96 and 101. Yep. I'm closer.
But are we using fees here? I mean,
No,
like,
we're not using fees.
come
We're just going off of
on.
the sale price. But we were
Okay.
both very, very close on that. But yeah, obviously,
Okay,
somebody bought it. They're like,
6'4".
this is a really miserable driving experience because it's not all that fast. It's
I
got a
need-
terrible transmission. It looks cool. But they're like, I don't want this. And they just immediately went and sold it and took a $5,000 haircut happily to get rid of it. So there you go.
I need to win like all of these last 3, right? Yes.
You pretty much, yeah.
To
You
win.
need to, I'm
I need to
up by
lock
2
these
at this
in.
point.
I need
So
to lock these in.
this is a weird one too. 280 mile, 2009 Dodge Viper SRT10 ACR.
That's the best of
Yep.
all of them. That's
Yep.
great.
Very, very cool. So this isn't the end of the line ACRs, obviously. So this is what they call them, the third gen, because I think they have the early Viper, and then they still look the same, but it's still the second generation Viper. So this is the third generation. But I think the first time they did an ACR.
Okay.
I'm not a big Viper guy, so I may have gotten all this wrong. But yeah, big wing, track-focused Dodge Viper. Interior looks really cool, but not driven very much, only 280 miles on it. Original MSRP $114,000. So this one sold for a little bit more, $137,000 on 9/9 of 24. But in May of 2023, it sold for what?
If I win this battle, will you feel inferior to me?
No, not at all. Obviously, you're a very you pay attention to.
I will feel superior to you. I will lose respect for you.
It's, like I said, it's a total pick and a poke. This is just guessing.
Pick and the poke? I've never heard that, ever. All right.
Just guessing.
Okay,
so,
let's go.
what do you think in May of 2023? I'm erasing.
Okay.
Just because I didn't want to do the math with that number, honestly. But
I just think you're second guessing yourself because you
that
know the
too.
stakes
I'm nervous.
are
I'm
higher.
very nervous. What are you writing down there? I'm at $5,000 off. I was going to put $8,000, but then I didn't want to do the math, so I put 5. You're at 15,000. Okay. Well, let's see. $137,000 in 24. In 23, $146,000.
Oh, you're gonna have to do some math right now.
137, 146. I think.
Come on, car gods.
No, I'm closer. Yeah, 9,000.
Officially?
Yeah, I'm closer by. Like I was going to put $8,000, but I didn't want to do the math, and that was actually right on the money because it was about $8,000. So, yep.
It looks like
The best you can do is tie me now, and then we have to do a tiebreaker.
Okay.
But yeah.
2 more cars
There you
left.
go. 2 more cars.
I
You
have
can
to
tie
get this
me.
last
Or we
one.
should probably leave it as a tie.
No, this is good. This car.
Well, there's, okay. 2006 Ford GT.
Wow. Okay.
6,000 miles. Sold in April of 2022. But the most recent sale, 6,000 miles on it. Very pretty photos. Has the stripe. Looks like it has the options. You got the Macintosh stereo. Beautiful mint condition car that I've always wanted, but they are always just a little bit out of reach money-wise.
You were, unless they have a salvage title.
Right. There, I bet on that yellow one, salvage title at Barrett Jackson, and it got a little bit out of reach. It had some mods to it where it was really loud, and I would have to undo all of that, so I wasn't a big fan of that. And ended up buying the SLR McLaren instead that came 2 cars after. So I'm happy with that choice. But yeah, what do you think this one did?
These are so cool.
2 years ago,
Whoa.
April of 2022.
That has to be the height, right? Like this guy took a huge hit getting this number.
Maybe, maybe not.
Are you sure I can't call Ed Bolian?
No, you cannot.
Okay. I need to channel him right now. Ed, and your beautiful Bugatti, please help me.
Write your number down.
Okay. So you're saying April 2022 wasn't the height, or it was the height? Shit. It totally was. Like these things were going crazy.
You think? Okay, if that's what you think. Write down your number, and I'm already second guessing.
I'm like, I want to get close enough to you, but just a little bit better. That's my game plan. I'm nervous.
Okay, go ahead. Down 40,000. I'm up 40,000 because I think this is the one of the few cars that's bucked the trend, and it keeps going up.
What?
That's hilarious. So yeah.
No way.
It's definitely gone up since 2022.
Killing it.
They've definitely gone up since 2022. So it sold for $375 in 2022, and it's not up as much as I thought. $396.
Okay.
So
I was completely wrong.
It's up 20, not 40.
Okay.
But yeah, they have gone up some. I thought it went up.
Can we do all or nothing on this last car?
Sure, why not? But it's a 2022 Lamborghini Huracan STO. STO.
Right.
So they're cool, sort of end of the road.
Right.
Lamborghini. The new one isn't as cool or is going to be as cool. You know, hybrid V8, whatever that is going to be. But yeah, this one 2,000 miles. And it sold when it was basically a new car in December of 2022. New, it had a window sticker of $414,000. So it already sold for less than its MSRP, $340. But this is the crazy period. So it could have sold for over its MSRP when new. That's when people were being crazy back in 2022 and paying over MSRP for what they thought was rare stuff, even those new cars that were going to depreciate. So, what do you think? Yep.
This is make or break.
Okay.
Okay.
I think they lost $100,000.
I'm going 60.
And you please help. I'm trapped in Kansas with the tarantulas in the bed.
There are tarantulas in Kansas, and one got caught in a little trap under our bed.
Anywho,
And I'm traumatized.
this one sold
I didn't know
for
there were tarantulas in North America.
$426,000. So, 426,
You win.
340.
You win, and there's tarantulas under the bed, and
They paid over MSRP for a car and lost almost $100,000.
now would you predict that when
of
the new
course.
model's coming out?
Well, it was obvious that people were complete idiots for paying that much for a mass-produced Lamborghini Ferrari. It's one thing to buy an Enzo where they make 100 of them, or
Right.
you know the McLaren P1 where they made 200 something of them. The 918 Spider Porsche, like a hypercar early trophy, they made 918. They're making so many of these. They made 10. It's the most produced Lamborghini on earth, the Huracan, and you're paying over sticker for it. Playing over sticker for a Urus, you're a complete fool. And yeah, you see it now with the recent sales. So you are not a fool. You were a worthy adversary, and you did really. You gotta be
I
impressed. with
feel
April.
like you're secretly trying to turn me into Doug.
Good game. Thanks, Lady Doug, for playing, and thank you so much for watching.